Right now at 10, loved ones say goodbye to those killed in the Orlando shooting.
When we got to news that Corey had been taken from us, it was more than we could bear.
Also tonight,
I've only known Blake for a year, but it was one of the best years in my life.
a community mourns for a little boy who lost his life too early. Plus, these high schoolers fight for their spot with the Fighting Irish. And how this car got burned up may surprise you. The news starts right now.
This is Fox 28 News at 10.
Good evening, everyone, and thanks for staying up late with us. I'm Molly Jurasek. Alexis has the night off. About 100 came together in Mishawaka to remember 10-year-old Blake Glassburn. The boy was tragically killed by a tree branch this week. It fell on his family's tent while on a camping trip at Indiana Beach. At the boy's vigil, family, friends, and classmates shared their memories about Blake.
Whenever I would have a bad day, I would look at his smile, and it would fix my day. I could depend on that because it was always there.
Very sweet. Blake's funeral is set for Saturday next weekend at Chapel Hill Funeral Home in Mishawaka. You can find the service details on this story at fox28.com. It's been about a week since we witnessed our nation's most deadly mass shooting to date. Now, as Steve Nannis reports, loved ones of the 49 victims are preparing their final farewells.
A tearful embrace during the funeral service for 21-year-old Corey James Connell, one of the 49 victims who lost his life during the Orlando shooting. Connell was leaving the Pulse nightclub with his girlfriend when the gunman walked in and opened fire. Connell's girlfriend survived, but he didn't.
When we got the news that Corey had been taken from us, it was more than we could bear. The first question we asked is why, and why Corey? I had no answers for myself or my family. And the only thing I knew to do was to cry out to God.
On Friday, loved ones gathered to say goodbye to 25-year-old Anthony Luis Laureano Disla, who moved to Orlando 3 years ago to pursue a career as a choreographer. President Obama honored the victims earlier this week, laying a wreath at a memorial site, and in his weekly address, reflected on his visit with the families of the victims.
Time and again, we've observed moments of silence for victims of terror and gun violence. Too often, those moments have been followed by months of silence, by inaction that is simply inexcusable.
29-year-old Omar Mateen opened fire inside a gay nightclub in Orlando last Sunday, killing 49 people and injuring dozens more. Police say Mateen called 911 during the shooting and pledged allegiance to ISIS. Mateen was on the FBI's terrorist watch list from 2013 to 2014, but the investigation into his possible ties to terrorism did not produce enough evidence to make an arrest. I'm Steve Nannis reporting.
Prepping for next weekend's Pride Fest in Chicago, the Chicago PD, FBI, and gay community are keeping a watchful eye. They're adding a few hundred officers to their usual ranks at the parade, plus they'll have K-9 units and officers dressed as civilians. If you do plan to attend, keep in mind there will be bag checks and fewer entry points than past years.
Well, today was another warm day out there, and it's going to be another warm night tonight. Current temperatures right now, you're looking at them on your screen. We're a little bit cooler along the lakeshore at 65 degrees, 72 still in Rochester. As you head overnight tonight, we're going to stay on the mild side. We drop down to around 60 degrees overnight. As you head out early for Father's Day morning tomorrow morning, will already be in the low 70s. But how hot will we be getting for Dad tomorrow? I'll let you know coming up in just a bit.
Thanks, Courtney. When someone you know has been affected by tragedy, leave it to the kids to lend a helping hand. Neighbor kids in Elkhart, Nebraska are raising money for the Graves family after 2-year-old Lane Graves was drowned by an alligator at the Grand Floridian Resort in Disney World. They're calling their fundraiser Lemonade for Lane.
It was her idea to do a lemonade stand, and then, well, we didn't know what to do with all the money, so we thought maybe we could give the money to the families.
Folks are also adorning the neighborhood with hundreds of ribbons on trees and mailboxes in the Elkhart area. Now, we're always warned about not leaving your kids in a hot car, but probably not for this reason. Jason Dakota faces child endangerment charges after he left his 2 kids in the car with the windows cracked. Now, you can see here the kids got a hold of a lighter, setting the car ablaze. Luckily, after a few Good Samaritans saw what happened, they helped the kids escape. Growing up in foster care can be tough, especially on Father's Day weekend. For more than 200 children ages 9 and older across Indiana, the Indiana Adoption Program hopes to bring that number down at an open house in Elkhart. Fox 28's Eric Crouch shows you how you could become a new dad or mom to a kid in need.
We believe that every child deserves a family.
Misty Sorchevich stands in front of the smiling faces of a diverse group of kids all looking for love.
All the children have been through some sort of trauma, and so, you do have to be prepared for that. And so there's some emotional needs.
Indiana Adoption Program works with the Department of Child Services to place kids, or sometimes siblings, in the age range of 9 to 21 with a family that will provide that tender, loving care.
The Indiana Adoption Program, it represents children in the foster system whose parental rights have been terminated. They are available for adoption right now.
Keep in mind, these aren't toddlers. That means these kids and teens need some guidance.
Once a child is 18 and they age out of the system, then they don't have that backup support. None of us are really ready at 18 to be on our own.
Foster children not interested in finding that forever home can actually opt out of the program at age 14.
All the children over 14 in the Indiana Adoption Program want a family. They've chosen to be in our program.
All that's required of you is some training, a background check, fingerprints, and time with the Special Needs Adoption Program advisor to get matched up with a child whose life you can change forever. In Elkhart, Eric Crouch, Fox 28 News.
Now we've put links to the adoption homepage as well as links to pictures and descriptions of children ready to be adopted on our website, fox28.com. Adoption champions were one of many participants in Oneness Day, a celebration of the human race put on at Elkhart's Island Park. The event was started out of last year's discussion of sundown towns, which were historically only home to white families. Black families were not allowed to be within city limits at night. Today's gathering was about people of all ages, races, and faiths coming together.
It doesn't matter who you are, you have something to give and offer to make the world a better place when you die and to bless humanity to make it better. And so that's what Oneness is.
Oneness Day also celebrated Juneteenth, a state holiday which commemorates the abolition of slavery. Now, we all know someone affected by cancer, and that's why so many in Michiana walk in the Relay for Life. For the Marshall County community, this walk has extra meaning. They're remembering Sheriff Thomas Chamberlain, who died from neuroendocrine cancer last August.
Right, and he was a very private, simple man, so I really don't think he had any idea that it would become this. Yeah. And he's probably looking down today saying, okay, enough is enough. Someone else's turn to be in the spotlight.
Aaron Metzger says they plan to have more events like this down the road. Hey, what a way to enjoy the warm sunshine today. A little jazz and art at South Bend's Leeper Park Art Fair. This year's event is a little different because of construction. Folks are asked to park at the Century Center or St. Joe High School. From there are shuttle buses to the fair, which is still going on tomorrow from 10 to 5. If you're already thirsty for football season, you are not the only one. Coming up, we've got recap from this year's Irish invasion. Plus, our own Farron Franzak shares some words of wisdom to her fellow Boilermakers. Stay with us.